Somebody who runs a sound studio, do you make your living from working with music?
How I make a living as somebody who owns a recording studio is through different avenues. I mean, I do a lot of film and television soundtracks and also final mixing and location recording. But I also do a lot of music also. For me, I use music as a marketing tool. The fact that I came from a music producer background, I can't just abandon that because a lot of people associate my name with music and popular music for that fact.
So who have you worked with?
I've worked with a lot of the contemporary artists. I've worked with Nonini, Nameless, P-Unit, Just a Band. I mean, a lot of these, Giuliani, Eric Musyoka. I've worked with a lot of these artists. So you find that music maybe is 30% of my business. And the reason for that is because I got educated in the US. So I was inducted into the international system of music production and how the international standards. Yeah. So when I came back with a lot of investment. And I used to run, initially I was employed at Homeboys. So I was the one in charge of the studio. So it was somebody else's establishment. So they called the shot. I never called the shot. All I had to do was work and get a salary. So I never cared about the business sense side of it, really. So when I started doing my own thing, initially I just ran my studio like any other studio in the country. You know, you have a couple of artists who you record with. You don't charge them. You recoup your costs from the performances and other avenues and sources of income. But you find with that model, you have a lot of pressure to do a lot of commercial music and disseminate your music all over. And for me, it felt like a factory. And I'm very critical in how I do my operations. Yeah. So I really wanted a structured system. And you find that for me to implement that system, my income from music dwindled because I wasn't doing mass projects. So I wasn't casting my net wider. Yeah. That's why I decided to focus on other avenues of.
Yeah. So you're doing largely film.
Yes. So I ventured into those avenues to help sustain the studio and meet my basic expenses and just run the studio as a business. Then I can use my artistic nature to do projects and work with artists that I feel are adding value rather than just quantity. Yeah. So I stopped focusing on quantity. I focus on quality. So I'd rather record fewer artists without pressure. Yeah. But when the songs come out, they are quite something. I mean, last year alone I only did 2 songs, but they were all number 1s. Right. Instead of doing 10 songs that will not go anywhere, then you're dealing with these artists who don't want to pay. You have a lot of pressure on the business end, making money for the studio instead of focusing on the creativity. So for me, that's how I approach my studio. I work with artists whom I can manage. We have a proper agreement, proper contracts, proper paying structures, and focus on quality. I give them quality. When the song leaves that studio, it's a guaranteed hit.